So today our guest is Miriam Conner. So Miriam's the founder of Creative Policy, where she manages projects and facilitates cultural engagement. She's on the board of Preservation Austin, a former commissioner on the City of Austin's African American Quality of Life Commission. Basically, Miriam's amazing, and we're very happy to have her today. And she's a pro with all of this stuff.
So I've been doing community engagement for, they won't be able to see, for about 10 years now. Started building community when I came back from, I got my BFA in photography, so I'm an artist. But then I learned very fast that my art is community, and I like building it, cultivating community. That is how I became from photographer to where I am now. So I've created my own definition of community engagement, and I'll read that to you. Community engagement is an inclusive, collaborative process where individuals, groups, and organizations actively participate in dialogue, decision-making, and actions that directly impact the communities that they live in. It embodies an ethos of mutual respect, trust building, understanding, shared responsibility, underpinned by the belief that every community member has a unique voice and valuable insights that contribute to the collective wisdom. This process empowers people to shape their environments, policies, and services, fostering stronger relationships shared by community values and equitable, that provides equitable outcomes for all. So, community engagement, talking to people like they're human. Simple, very easy, kind of. Communicating authentically, demonstrating empathy. We've all gone through so much, period. Understand that wholeheartedly, and then, yeah, just walk in other people's shoes. Two-way communication with active listening. Don't be the one that always speaks, right? It's not fair, and it's not building any kind of trust or relationships. So being mindful of the tone. A lot during community engagement, there will be people with different perspectives at the table, and you cannot get overworked. You have to stay calm. Talking to people is hard when you don't understand their history. Community engagement always starts with history, so you can fully get the backgrounds of where people come from, no matter if you're left or right, right? Everybody just wants to be happy, have a good quality of life. Respecting and valuing diversity and communication. People speak in different ways. Some people like emailing, some people like texting, some people like phone calls, some people like a knock on the door. Just ask them, what is their preferred communication style? Understanding community. So again, starting with history, this is a Eastlink Trail. I worked on the project with the Austin Parks Foundation and Public City, and we started with the history, understanding the past of this space. I'll go into the actual project soon, but learning the cultural heritage and the traditions and the identity of a place helps you provide the same kind of context for the people that surround the place. So the Eastlink Trail, I think there's actually a little video. So we did 2 bike tours. This trail goes from Lady Bird Lake all the way down up to Mueller. And we did 2 trail activations, getting people on the trail bikes. We had pedicab drivers, and we also had walking. And we got the community to tell their own histories about their families that used to live on the trail. So we did one environmental activism trail ride, and then we did a environmental activism, and then I'm forgetting the other one, but it's arts, because there's a bunch of arts complexes along the trail as well. Then we learned from the community input that the community has always wanted these pillars underneath the Pleasant Valley Bridge painted. And we're like, we can work on that. We can get that done. Let's do it. And so the first phase was 6 pillars. We got community pillars to tell their histories, give those histories to artists that were selected by a selection panel that from the community. And then those artists painted the murals on the pillars, the histories, living histories, right? And then the second phase was 9 pillars. And so if you go underneath the Pleasant Valley Bridge, you'll see these murals. This is actually Ruben, who's an artist. This was his first mural. And this is his family, his 5 generations, 6 generations, Austin. And he got to interview his uncle, right, and his aunt, because they have done amazing things for our city. So how can you activate and get people totally immersed in what either the project is, the art that you're gonna make, the public art piece? What does the community want? We all have our own ideas, but we've got to talk to the community, because if the community is going to be involved, if the community is going to pay attention to your art, what do they want? Partnerships. So you can't do everything by yourself. Yeah, y'all got to partner. With organizations, individuals in this room. If you've found another artist, partner. Capacity, we're all busy, right? You might have kids. You might have to take care of your mother, right? Partnerships leads to resource sharing, strengthens and leverages the impact that you can make for the community. Also, when you partner, you learn from different perspectives, right? You start thinking in different kinds of ways, because we all walk differently. So for Eastlink Trail, we partnered with all of these people. As you can see, there's more, because the PALs, there was about, I want to say 50 individuals that were part of this neighborhood group that we also asked, what do you want your trail to look like? What do you want to be where? The majority of community engagement is, how can we help you? What do you need and what do you want? Right? So literally probably about 100 people worked on this whole project. Another example is the Trail Conservancy's Art and Culture Plan. So we consulted on this project where, what does the community want art and culturally and programming? What do we want our trail to look like? This is our lifeblood of our city, right? So we heard from their steering committee that our consultant team was too white. And so we put our heads together and we were like, well, why don't we hire artists of color? So we put together an application that non-white communities could apply for only. We reached out to everywhere, Hutto, Pflugerville, Bastrop, everywhere where artists of color have been displaced. And we wound up with some amazing artists, Reggie Thomas, that's Reggie Thomas, Taylor Davis, and Ruben Esquivel. They were selected by a selection committee as well, because bringing a selection committee from the community is always important, at which your grant applications will go through the same process. And then they also collaborated with an environmental artist who's nationally renowned. Her name is Stacy Leafy. If you've never heard of her, I would definitely look her up, because she does some amazing work all across the country. So they decided to put together and build a wetland, a floating wetland for the lake that's still out there. The top part, because of the crazy weather that we have, is now gone, but the floating wetland is still out there. Yeah, and so we brought them, once the artists were chosen, we brought them through a community workshop led by experts around the city. So people from UT, people from GAVA, people from Poder. I don't know if y'all have heard of these organizations. If you haven't, I can tell you more about them later. But yeah, environmental activism and cultural preservation. We had people from the Travis County African American Commission talking about the history of Black people in Austin. Yeah. Partners, those are all partners. Partners are people that have knowledge and that they can share knowledge that can help you understand the world. And we had the community come out and help build the wetland as well. More hands-on, interactive, getting dirty. And then the partners, we had Art Spark come out and do a performance. And then we had Future Front come out and do a little bit of activation of like gathering people's input. And then Juice Lane sponsored our beverages. So this is a current project that I'm working on, the Elizabeth Ney Museum. Have you ever been there? It's beautiful. Elizabeth Ney was a badass. For this first activation, we did an artist salon, and we partnered with Johnny Walker, of course, a little bit of beverages, and then Zilker Brand Company and Topo Chico. We brought in theater majors that also were facilitators to guide them through, and the artists through this. What does it feel like to be in the space now? What do you need in public art now? So this was at the Elizabeth Ney. We had the facilitators. They came up with, and giving the facilitators full creative right? They're artists as well. And so they decided to take photos of the Ney, bring them outdoors. They talked about the 1928 master plan, but they also, one of the facilitators brought in fabric. So talking about fabric and how it bring fabric into space and programming, how those tie together. We saw it in the notebooks. It's just like yeah, creatives. Multiple languages, always important. This was for the Trail Foundation, and then this is for the Eastlink. Always listing your partners, because your partners give you more credibility. Let's see. So for the Elizabeth Ney, we have based on the artist salon feedback that we got from the artists, we're doing a reimagining event on October 21st. So that event is shaped by the artists being like, we would like to see programming over here, across the lake, or across the creek. We would like to have yoga, or we would like to have classes, pottery classes. How did Elizabeth Ney sculpt these gigantic pieces out of marble? We want to learn how to do that. Okay, we're gonna test it here at this event. We're gonna bring in theater actors as tour guides and test the different storylines that the community has said that they liked to be, enjoyed being told and taught. So like the Elizabeth Ney was a mother, that storyline. There's the having, how she made her art. That's another storyline, and having people theatrically tell her story, and then understanding from that which stories are the most important. So that way the museum can actually focus on its history telling. And then we're also testing the programming. So we're bringing in artists to do installations in those different spots that the artists from the artist salon pointed out. So it's gathering information, testing it, seeing, and going back to the community constantly to get a check-in. No, we didn't like that. No, this is not what we said. Always a pulse check with the community. So during the event, we will also do on-site interviews, people literally interviewing, recording, and then transcribing those recordings into data. Story collection. Community engagement is story collection. It's history. That's it.
So probably a lot of you guys, you might have not held certain events, or like your project is totally new. So how do you just get started with some community engagement? And if you're on a budget too, like how do you just get out there and start?
Talk to your friends, right? Talk to your community. Start there. You can also, we are all on social media platforms now. Most of us, you can write letters, but kind of outdated. The social media, asking your community on social media, what do y'all think about this? How can this help you? Just ask them and then get that feedback. That's bare minimum how you can start. But literally, or even at a coffee shop, like striking up a conversation, right? Hey, I would like to pitch this to you. What do you think about it?
Thank you so much.